I've always believed that I wouldn't fail.
Hey, what's up, you guys? This is Matt from Gym Partners.
Hey, I'm Rory from Gym Partners.
On the first official episode of the Gym Partners podcast, we were lucky enough to interview Mr. Nasty himself, Leroy Davis. As well as his sometimes training partner, IFBB Pro Anth Bailes. We had a lot of fun. What did you think about the interview, Rory?
I think they have a lot of wisdom to offer on bodybuilding and just kind of life in general.
And of course, if you haven't checked out the Gym Partners app yet, Leroy Davis is our first official gym partner. Drive! Having him on the podcast for the first one was really something special. And for him also to talk about the app a little bit was really great. I thought it was awesome. So let's check out the interview. We're lucky enough to be joined today with Mr. Leroy Davis and Mr. Anth Bailes. Thanks once again for joining us, fellas. We had such a good time last week. I said, you know what? Let's do it again. So here we are for the second time. Thank y'all for joining us, folks. Leroy, give us a quick little introduction on yourself, if you wouldn't mind.
Hello, my name's Leroy. Yeah, that's me, Leroy. I'm like Elvis, I don't need a second name.
This is true. Mr. Nasty himself. We got Leroy Davis with us. And Anth, go ahead and introduce yourself real quick.
My name's Anth Bailes, IFBB Pro Bodybuilder. Part-time training partner to Mr. Leroy Davis, Mr. Let's Get Nasty when we can hold together. I've been bodybuilding for like, Jesus Christ, nearly 30 years now. I had this discussion this evening actually with a friend of mine. 29 years now, so we're hanging in, man.
That's great. So in
Do you
prepare,
want a bio? You don't want a long bio, do you? Like a contest, and all that stuff.
yeah, no. We're gonna put some info about both of you guys in the show notes, so it's not that crucial that we do a long bio. I just wanted y'all to basically say hello, and I'll just tell everyone that we did in fact interview you guys last week. We had an issue with the audio, so I'll be transcribing some of that so we can share a couple of the little nuggets that we had. But it actually provided a good opportunity, I think, for this podcast because I wanted to make, Rory and I wanted to make this podcast mostly, everybody's always talking about training, and we're going to talk about that certainly, but this podcast, I wanted to center it around more like a psychology podcast because to your point, Anth, you just said you've been bodybuilding, for about 29 years. Leroy, you've been bodybuilding and training for many years as well. And we wanted to really dig in on this podcast on the mental side of that. And to start this podcast off, since it is the second one we did after what I thought was a huge failure on my part, I wanted to start this podcast off if you guys could each give us an example of how failure has actually maybe played a role in your life and let's just say kicking you to the next level. Like I feel like failure for guys like yourselves is almost a fuel. And I wanted you to just maybe speak to that if you've had a failure in your life where you've come back from it and what it taught you. Leroy, would you mind starting that one off for us?
That's deep.
It is, yeah, a failure.
Well, let me throw this at you real quick, Leroy. The thing about it I thought connected well is because I thought about failure. Y'all explained how if you're going for a big set and you fuck it up, you have to think about it the whole week until you can do that set again. So I literally just experienced that. And I thought, with this podcast, with the way the audio got fucked up, I'm like, man, the whole week I had to rethink about what I could have or should have done or whatever. So I just wanted you to give an example maybe of where there was something that seemed like a failure and you were able to kind of push through it and come back from it.
That's hard.
I've got a good one. Just in this one. So if we're talking about failure, the very first time I trained with Leroy, the Temple Gym, I was a little bit silly, and I was kind of recovering from a slight injury. And the first thing Leroy actually said was like, "Do you have any injuries?" I said no, being an idiot, because I wanted to train, etc. Unfortunately, I think it was second exercise in, wasn't it, Leroy? I tore my quad, the left quad, which at the time I didn't know was a tear. I was like 10 weeks out from a contest, so obviously when I got home, I got looked at. The leg was torn, just a slight tear in the outer quad. And yeah, I thought that was it. I was going to be out of the contest, etc. And we managed to kind of pull it off, and we got through. And that was the year I turned professional, actually. So 2012, first time I trained with Leroy, I tore the quad, thought it was game over. 10 weeks later, won the contest, won the next one, won the one after that. It was 3 years, and then the fourth one we turned pro. So the failure all worked out in the end.
Wow, that's killer. And also I thought it fit in well because you guys are very big on training to failure and a little bit beyond failure, I guess, in certain ways. And I just think that the people out there that are trying to maybe get into the sport of bodybuilding, which, the Gym Partners app is not ultimately going to be just for bodybuilders. It's to help people push through maybe, if they don't even want to work out in any capacity. So I thought it was kind of interesting that you guys, and Leroy, would you say a big part of your training is pushing people to what they think is failure, but they realize they can go beyond failure in a sense?
It is. I mean, and this is why it was hard to answer that question. I've always believed that I wouldn't fail. That might sound big-headed or not, but no, in my mind, I would not fail. I would not allow myself to fail. And I think I've sort of used that as a tool, not just in the way I train, but in the way I train other people as well, is I will not allow them to fail. And that's a methodology that I want them to take on board as well. And having that in your ears all the time, it's going to push you. It will push you. And if you can adapt to that and adapt to that way of thinking, where you go into not just a set, but anything, you're going to go on a bike ride, you're going to go on a mountain climb or something. If you put that in you will not fail. You're not going to fail. Then mentally you won't. Unfortunately, physically you may fail. You may have an accident or an injury or whatever. But mentally, you put the block in there, you're not going to fail. End of.
I love it. I love it. Now, to dig into that just a little bit deeper, would you say that the difference, let's say, in mentality for you as opposed to some other folks, do you feel like that's almost like a timing / patience issue that you've learned? Because in other words, in the very near term, when you think you've failed, I'm saying, do you have a mindset where you know that in the long haul, you're never going to quit, so there is no failure in that sense? Like, that you're just going to keep trying until you make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. That could be a minor age. Go on, mate.
Sorry, mate. Yeah, it sounds very cheesy, but failure just isn't an option, is it? You might think about kind of giving kind of stuff, but it creeps in there, and you just push it out. And you keep going. That's happened like time and time again for me, over and over. Everybody thinks about giving up and failing, but the true, I'm not going to say warrior, guys, because it's a very far-fetched, but a true kind of athlete won't give up. That's kind of what separates the good from the great, I suppose. And everybody thinks about it. It creeps in their head sometimes, but you just keep pushing on, don't you? That's the attitude you got to have. Yeah, I know everybody says this, when you hear these like podcasts, like, failure makes you grow and all this stuff. Like, I don't mean in a bodybuilding sense, but yeah, it creates like better mentality. I don't want to fail, so no, I don't want to keep failing, and so it builds my character. I just want to not fail to build my character.
Yeah, that's awesome. I feel like this is the type of stuff, especially for the younger guys and girls out there that may be watching. This whole format really interests me a lot because we have the ability, people in this world look at you guys, as the, kind of like the Greek philosophers of back in the day, where you lived it, you've been there, and you have this great advice. And again, I like focusing on the mental aspect because I really do believe that's what holds most people back. You know, they think themselves out of situations or they freak themselves out. And I feel like we're the type of people, you know, as been evidenced with the way we've worked on this app with you guys for this long, you know, we're not the type of people that quit. And I'm just trying to convey that to people in this world from the guys that, like I said, have lived it and breathed it for so long. You know, when you're training at this level, you had mentioned in the previous podcast, and, you know, there's certain mental things and tricks that you use to kind of get yourself through a set. So would you mind sharing once again what a couple of those kind of mindset tips are as far as when you're about to take on a big set? What are some of the tricks you're using mentally to try and push through?
Yeah, I mean, Leroy will always agree. It's always kind of a battle with yourself. So I'll use things that are important to me. So again, I mentioned this before. I'll, you know, if I'm training for a contest and I'm about to do like a last set of squats or whatever, I'll tell myself, listen, if you don't get this 10 reps, whatever you're supposed to get today, you don't deserve to be a pro bodybuilder. Or you don't deserve first place, or you shouldn't be on that stage. Kind of like it's a little bit self-sabotage, but it gets you in the right mindset to kind of pushing. Leroy's got an interesting philosophy on the whole getting you to failure, because he'll tell you about the whole one. I don't know how to swear on this podcast. Yeah, one fucking more. We've got Leroy Davis and Will.
Hell yeah. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, that's where the whole one
fucking swearing.
Yeah, sorry, Dad. I got it from you anyway. But yeah, the whole one fucking more thing. Leroy will explain that to you about kind of how he takes you to failure in little chunks, rather than just seeing doing this. He's got a little kind of clever tactic with that nasty mouth of his of getting you to that spot without you even realizing. So I don't know if you want to take over, Mr. Davis. You know what I'm talking about.
I am a scientist. I'm not a doctor or whatever. But I've learned over the years that 99% of people will fail with their mind when they're doing something physical, very physical. Their mind will fail or stop or want to give in a lot sooner than the body or the physical exercise they're doing, or the muscles they're using to do that physical exercise. And that's because they're thinking all the time. While you're going through the set, you're thinking. Even though you're moving the weight with the muscle group, you're thinking, your mind's ticking over. And your mind's automatically going to take. It's just human nature that your mind will tell you, I can't do this, I can't do anymore. And that first bit of pain comes in, and that's it. The mind gives up. The mind gives up before the muscle. So I've learned this over the years that it doesn't matter who you are, what you are, that will kick in eventually. When the weight starts to slow down and I start seeing you struggle, I know that your mind is winning, and then that's when I jump in and I'll take over. Not I'll take over your mind, and the way I take over your mind is I'll tell you about you. I'm going to shout down your ears that you're going to do one more, and believe it or not, you'll do one more, and then I'm going to tell you you're going to do another, and that's where our set starts, as far as I'm concerned. You know what I mean? We don't start our set until you get to one more, and the positive on that is a lot of guys will, after we've gone through that, we've gone through several one more sets, they'll jump up and go, fuck me, couldn't believe that. I can't believe I've done that. And yet it was there all the time. It was there all the time. It's just a mental block, or it's a mental thing that everyone possesses, and sometimes they let that mental block win.
I love it.
So basically, Leroy will tell you till you do one more. Then he'll say, right, give me one more. So one more sounds a lot easier than give me 5 more. Then he'll say, right, give me another 2, give me one more. And before you know it, you've got an extra 7 reps that you didn't think you had in there. But if he maybe just said, right, give me 7 more, probably wouldn't get it, because this kind of thing's, 7 more, that much pain? But if you just think 1, then do it again, yeah, that's his little trick.
I love it.
Plus, it doesn't look cool on a T-shirt saying 5 fucking more.
Yeah, true. So let me ask you this: the notion that what you just said, Leroy, as far as, do you guys believe that that little piece of your mind, if you're doing a set, that, like, just like you said, Leroy, the mind will start to creep in there? And in my opinion, and part of the reason that I really push to get this app out there. My contention was that if we could eliminate that part of the brain, and even if it is the part that is trying to make up these stories to push yourself through a set, in other words, I have to work out by myself most of the time. So I am the one that has to come up with these stories mid-set of like, come on, don't be a bitch, push through it. And my contention when we started developing this app was like, holy shit, I'm able to now turn off that part of my brain, even if it's just a little percentage, because now I have Leroy in my ear, literally, telling me, yeah, motherfucker, do another one. So do you guys buy into that thought process that even if it's a little percentage of your brain that you're getting to shut off, that could be an advantage in some way while you're lifting?
Yeah, you're right. You're right there. You need someone that to get your best sets out, and as far as I'm concerned, train on your own. You'll push yourself so far, and you will. And even if you're disciplined, and you manage to block out that mental fourth for failing with the mind, and even if you're telling yourself one more, you're on your own. You'll only get so far. With the app, with someone shouting down your ear hole, even if he isn't there in person, if that person is motivating you and you allow them to motivate you, then you're going to take it further because you're concentrating on that person's voice. You're concentrating on what they're telling you, not asking you, they're telling you to do. Now, you've got an option there. You can either do what they're telling you to do and motivating you to do, or you can give up. And that's where the mindset is. You don't want to allow yourself to give up. And that's the battle. And if you got that in your ear, you'll win the battle. If you haven't got in your ear, your mindset of giving up will give up. With that, with someone screaming in your ear hole and motivating you, you're gonna keep going. You're gonna get the hairs on the back of your neck come up. You're gonna want to do one more. But that again, that's providing you're in the mindset anyway, that you're gonna allow that person to push you, or that voice to push you.
Yeah, Anth, would you like to speak to that really quickly?
Yeah, like I say, there's just that tiny little bit. There's, everybody's kind of, even the highest level guys who are super disciplined and self-motivated, you'll always have that little bit extra tucked in there somewhere. So yeah, if you can have someone like Leroy screaming in your ear for those last few, it'll take your mind away from that pain and focus on getting those last few reps. Because at the end of the day, like I always say to people, like, which rep do you think is going to be the most productive, the first one or the last one? It's going to be the last one, isn't it? So if you're just missing those last one or two, you're just not pushing to full capacity. You're cutting yourself short eventually.
Yeah, I love it. So Rory, what was your question you had for him before we had to reset you there?
Yeah, I wanted to ask you guys, learning to push through past that physical exhaustion, how is that carried over into other aspects of your life? I'm not in the gym like you guys are, but I played football in high school, and I've always, enjoyed working out. And I've kind of always used it as a tool to kind of keep me stable and level-headed, because I find exerting myself in the gym and pushing, allows me to perform better at work, or in other instances in my life, use those tools, and it'll kind of carry over. So I wanted to ask you all that. How do you find learning to push yourself, to that level in the gym? How has it helped you guys in other aspects of your lives?
Yeah, I mean, the discipline you carry on from the gym, and especially the kind of competitive bodybuilding side where you're so regimented and kind of disciplined and everything's on time and you don't miss a meal and you don't miss a workout, you don't miss a cardio session. And that will eventually, yes, for sure, carry over into kind of other aspects like business, etc., meeting deadlines. And again, like this evening, I'm tired this evening. I can't be bothered to do the end of month accounts, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if I'm tired. It doesn't matter if I can't be bothered. It doesn't matter if I'm pissed off. It just has to be done. It's just simple as that. And I think I've learned that from the bodybuilding side of things. I've been doing this since I was like 15, competitive since I was like 17, and it definitely does teach you a lot about yourself, and it kind of carries on in other areas of your life for sure. Again, Leroy we spoke about briefly, Leroy comes from a military background, so I'm assuming that kind of carries over for sure as well into the bodybuilding as well.
Yeah, part and parcel. The discipline is the main thing. It appears in all the aspects of your life. Just getting up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning, coming downstairs, having a coffee, getting yourself out, going to work, pissing down the rain, snowing, but you do it. You're disciplined to do it. It's a mindset thing, and it's there. It's already programmed into you, and getting yourself from having a shitty day off at work, working out in the snow, in the rain, and whatever. You finish work, you get yourself to the gym again. Discipline, self motivation. It's natural. It becomes natural, second nature. You don't think of it. You're just doing it. And again, the following day, you start again. You get up in the morning, 6 o'clock in the morning. You get yourself to work. You come home, you play with your kids, or you do something. Then you get yourself motivated to go to the gym. It's all there. It's all part and parcel of it. But 9 times out of 10, you won't think of it. You just do it. It's already ingrained in you.
Leroy, let me ask you this on that topic right there. For you, obviously, you've been doing this for a long time, and both of you guys, the discipline is obviously there. So for folks out there, whether they're into, competitive bodybuilding, or maybe, again, I don't want to keep it just to bodybuilding. There's a lot of people out there where the challenge of, let's say, a bodybuilder prepping for his first show and all the challenges that come with that mentally and physically, obviously, that may feel the exact same way that, let's say, an overweight, 40-something-year-old person who's never worked out, they may feel that just getting to the gym, or just the notion of working out, period, it's almost like as if that's the same challenge to them. So do you have any advice for someone who has not been living in this mode of discipline for so long, where it is second nature? Do you have any suggestions on where a person right now, if they are not that disciplined, where would be a good place for them to start, do you think?
Set themselves little goals. If they feel they're overweight and they want to do something about it, then they've got to do something about it. So what they do is they set themselves little goals. And the first goal is to get themselves to the gym. Once they achieve that goal, they work out. That's the second goal. The third goal might be to get themselves a trainer that helps them work out. So setting little goals and little achievements out, and then little milestones, that getting them set out, and then start ticking them off, and then going to the end and coming back and starting again and going to the end. That starts setting the mind. Gets into a routine. The routine then becomes a disciplined routine. So small steps, just setting little goals helps to start it off, I think.
How about you, Anth? What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's some good advice, because I'll get guys coming in and say, I want to gain 30 pounds of muscle, or I want to lose 30 pounds of fat. And I always say, no, you don't. You want to lose 2 pounds of fat first. Then you want to add 2 pounds of muscle. Those small little increments. And eventually, if you stay disciplined enough, they will add up, and it will become second nature. Again, you won't always be motivated, but if you can be disciplined, you won't always feel like doing it. But if you just be disciplined and do it anyway, we have a saying at the gym on my wall, on the thing of the gym, it says, motivation will die, let discipline take its place. Again, it's very generic, but it's very true. I don't care who it is, not if you're the best in the world or something. Sometimes you don't feel like doing something. It's just you've had a bad day, or there's other stuff going on in your life. But you just have to learn how to kind of shut that off. And like you said, Leroy said, by setting the little small goals, like you say, even getting to the gym. Because you might just say, I ain't going to go to the gym. But get yourself to the gym. Once you're there, the wheels are in motion, you do a little bit of training. That's that bit done. You go home, you eat some healthy food. It's just little small steps added together that creates that kind of discipline in the end. Because once you start seeing the results, you will keep going. It's just actually starting those little kind of tiny baby steps. Don't overwhelm yourself with a massive, don't get me wrong, have a massive end goal, but little tiny steps first.
Yeah, I do agree that the tiny goals, tiny kind of habits thing is definitely a great place to start for people. And I guess one of the final things I wanted to put at you guys is on that topic. I have found in my experience using the Gym Partners app that we were talking in the first interview we did about the environment that you're working out in. And obviously, if you're in a gym such as yours, Anth, which actually give a quick shout out to your gym, Anth, and tell the people out there a quick little bit about where it's located and whatnot.
Yeah, so the gym's there, UltraFlex Durham. So we'll let Leo shout with his dog. I can hear
Can you hear her snoring? Sorry, can you hear her snoring?
I did a DVD once that I had the dog snoring in the background. It was Floyd, he was snoring on my knee. Obviously, he's out of shot. But we had to reshoot the whole scene about 5 times.
Hey, can we all hear? Can we all here agree that dogs are better than people anyway? So it's fine.
Oh yes, 100%.
It's fine. It's fine.
So what were we talking about the gym? UltraFlex Durham, the northeast Mecca. So because we're in the northeast of England, we opened be like 2 years ago now. I would say it's a new school meets old school gym. You know, we've got a ton of new kind of high-end equipment in there, but we've also got the small hardcore corner for the old school lifters and stuff. So we've got a little bit of everything for everybody in there. Awesome gym. Obviously, I'm going to say I'm a little bit biased, but it is, of course, the best gym I've trained in ever. But yeah, again, I'm not just hyping the place. You have to come visit. But yeah, new school meets old school. And again, when you're talking about environment and stuff, you know, sometimes I'll be in a gym training, whatever, and they'll have some music on that I kind of, because I've used music since the first time I started training. I used to have a Sony Walkman, if you guys are old, you remember that? The cassette. It doesn't matter if the kind of gym music shitty, you can put your own stuff on and have whatever you have to fire up. And then I've always used kind of audio and music to get fired up. I mean, when myself and Leroy train together, I don't need that because I've got the very loud audio there already. But yeah, if I'm training, generally I will train with earphones on, even if it's in my own gym, just to kind of close off, get focused and stuff. And yeah, as of late, we've had the Gym Partners app on there. There was some Metallica and stuff to get fired up.
Awesome. Yeah, the user comments have been great. And I found that through the use of this app, it's been interesting because I found for me personally, knowing that I have almost this power in my hand to speak to what you were saying, you know, some days you don't feel like doing it. But I know now that I have created this trigger in my brain that sometimes, to be honest, I'm not even working out yet, but I'll pop on the Gym Partners app and I'll start listening to Leroy because, again, it's like I'm able to transport my brain to that environment of let's get it done. You know what I mean? And that's been a very interesting side product. You know, obviously, I think most people, when they try the app, they hear Leroy, especially if they're doing it with the music, and it's like, oh shit, this really like pumps me up like nothing else, you know? But I found over long term using it, I know I have this ability now just with my finger to put myself in this environment and this mentality that I do believe in order to really push yourself, you need to go to. And I had mentioned in the previous interview how, you know, I was working out at an Anytime Fitness. And I just wanted to say, Anth, you know, from watching what you've done with your gym, you know, from, you know, what I see on social media and whatnot, I've had two main comments I wanted to tell you. I think the marketing of the red machines that you have there is phenomenal because I always know that I'm looking at your gym. I feel like whenever I see it and other people posting it, I feel like that color scheme is just really great and it's very noticeable. Like, it looks cool, but also how you did, like you said, the hardcore corner. I can't say I've ever seen a gym that's actually, like you said, combined the old school and the new school mentalities where maybe if you are that person just starting working out, but you kind of see over there like, whoa, they are really getting it. Like, that's what's possible. And I think most people mentally don't realize what's possible. So I just wanted to give you props on that, bro. That's a great idea.
Yeah, I'll have to give props to Charlie, my business partner. He's the founder of UltraFlex Gyms. The red and black is his idea. It's kind of a demonic look, if you like. It looks really nice, fresh, kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? New school. but there is a kind of demonic, kind of hard working kind of thing behind there as well. And yeah, we have the hardcore corner. It's actually fenced off. So if you want to just go over there, hide away from all the new stuff, it's like your thing, you can go in the hardcore corner and just smash some heavy weights around.
That's incredible. Rory, did you have any last questions for these guys before we let them go?
No, I think I'm good. I'm glad, thank you all for doing this with us again. Hopefully it's something we can continue to do. It's Matt's birthday if y'all want to tell him happy birthday.
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday. How old are you, Matt?
Thank you. I turned 39 today, so I'm slowly getting up that mountain. But yeah, I wanted to definitely thank y'all again for taking the time to do this. And actually, I could sit here. I hope that connects with you guys. The comment I made earlier about how, even though the world, people our age, it may seem a little weird, kind of doing things like this where it's this virtual world. But I do try to look at the positive in things. And I say, if we would have had access to, like I said, some of these Greek philosophers and these great thinkers back in the day where they were just like, they'd be like in the square or at the little Coliseum, just kind of speaking and teaching to anyone who was willing to learn. I really do feel like we have that power to take guys like yourselves who have this knowledge over all these years and can kind of share that with people and maybe speed up the process, or even the comments like you said, like, look, I've been one of the best in the world, but failure happens to all of us. And like Leroy was saying, the mindset has to be there of you're just not going to fucking quit no matter what. And I just wanted to keep it a little shorter today because I'm hoping every so often, you guys wouldn't mind hopping on with us, checking in, and we can have some more discussions, kind of, like I said, allowing you guys to share more of your knowledge with people because y'all just have a boatload. So is there any like links or any type of place people can find y'all at if they want to follow what you're doing?
Yeah, for me, it's just the full name Anth Bailes on Instagram. Or you can check out Hardkore Klothing with like hardcore with a K and clothing with a K, hardkoreklothing.com for the Team Nasty gear. But like I say, guys, we'll drop you some links and stuff. And, maybe in the future, if we could have like a set topic, that's when Leroy kind of comes alive. He'll, if you want to talk about X, Y, Z, give him something to talk about and he'll come alive on camera.
For sure. We'll have the next ones that we do with you guys. We'll try and make them specific for things like, specific training methodologies or even like some diet stuff, which we had touched on last time, just the mental part of dieting. But Leroy, do you have any links or any types of places anybody can find you to check out what you're doing as well?
Well, just I only use the Instagram. That's all I use. That's the Leroy Davis. That's really. Can I just go back to one subject? Anth was on about his gym.
Yeah.
How it's set up, and you mentioned his equipment and how great it looks, and it is a phenomenal gym. It's unbelievable. The lads and lasses up north, they don't know how lucky they are because of what they've got and where they've got it. A very important factor I feel in the gym is atmosphere. You can have the best equipment in the world, the nicest showers, the comfiest rooms and whatever. But if you haven't got atmosphere, if your gym don't create atmosphere, then you're losing it. You're going to lose. A lot of people will lose interest. Now that was sort of something we looked for in the gym years ago, and 9 times out of 10, it was what created the atmosphere was the choice of music and the lads them training themselves. Which all added to the clanging of the weights, the bawling, shouting, the screaming, the rock music or whatever, whatever was being played in the background. It all created a massive atmosphere. And you walked in and the first thing you done was, I want to get at it, Now, nowadays it's changed a lot. Nowadays you walk into the gym and the music's still playing, the weights are still clanging, but you look at everybody and they're all wearing their own earplugs or whatever, or 90% of them are. So they're creating their own atmosphere. So this is where I think you're sort of creating a good catch in the market there, because everyone has their own little atmosphere going on around their head. So if they can have you know, they might not like the music that's being played, so they got their own music playing. But if they can have their own or their favourite coach, bodybuilder, whatever I want to call them, screaming and shouting in their ears, everybody has their own little world going on. But they're still training and they still feel the atmosphere, which I think is a massive plus. Yeah, a massive plus.
Awesome.
And I never used to believe in headphones. Never used to believe them at all. But I actually wear them myself now.
I was just going to say, I've seen you some earphones on, Leroy.
Yeah, I never used to wear them, but I wear them here by Apple, whatever they are. I wear them now. And then it does. It creates your own little atmosphere around your head while you're training, which I think I should have found years ago.
Well, Leroy, I gotta say that is another. I mean, well, it's just another awesome birthday present for me to hear you say that, because the genesis of this app was literally what you just said. You know, I was working out at an Anytime Fitness, and I came from other gyms when I was younger where it was a little bit more of that around, where people were actually getting after it. But because of just circumstances in my life, I had moved somewhere else, and the only gym by me was this Anytime Fitness, and it was not a like get after it gym. And I had told the story last time about, you know, I would go work out, but I knew I wasn't pushing myself. And that to me was even worse than people who don't necessarily know what they're doing in the gym. I knew that I was shortchanging myself. But like you said, I think over here we probably refer to it more as environment. But like you said, atmosphere. I didn't have it in the place that I was working out. And when I saw that clip of you in the old Blood and Guts tape, I was like, man, that is the environment I need to be in so that I can get back to where I want to be in the gym. And that night went home and put together this kind of bootleg version of the app. And sure enough, here we are 4 years later interviewing you guys, and the app is a real thing. And I genuinely believe that, like you said, it creates that atmosphere for you in your little world, so that even if you don't have an awesome gym like where Anth is at, you have the ability in your mind to take it to that place. So I just wanted to thank you for that comment, because that was really what we were trying to achieve with this. And to hear it coming from the man himself, that's just awesome. So thank you guys again for doing this, and hopefully we could do it again soon. We appreciate y'all as always for doing this with us, both the app and the podcast. So if that's going to be it for this time, we appreciate it, everybody. Y'all hang out for 1 second if y'all wouldn't mind. Anth and Leroy, when I cut this off, we'll chat for just 1 second. But thank y'all again. Thanks to Rory. I'm Matt from Gym Partners. We'll see y'all soon.
No problem, Jensen.